Welcome to our deep dive into the fundamental unit of life, the cell. It's like a bustling city in here with all sorts of amazing structures working together to keep things running. Think of it like this. Your body is a whole country, and each cell is a city within that country. Each city has its own unique jobs and ways of doing things, but they all work together to keep the whole country running smoothly. Today we'll explore the key parts that make up a cell and their crucial functions. Get ready for some serious cellular exploration. First up, we have the cell membrane. This essential structure acts as the city limits, defining what's inside the cell and what's outside. It's like a giant soap bubble, made up of a double layer of special molecules called phospholipids. Now, these phospholipids are pretty picky about who they let in and out of the cell. That's because the cell needs to maintain a stable internal environment, kind of like how a city needs to regulate its traffic flow to avoid gridlock. This selective permeability is crucial for the cell's survival. Embedded within the cell membrane are proteins acting like gates and channels. They help transport specific molecules across the membrane, just like border crossings and customs checkpoints. Now that we've crossed the city limits, let's explore the bustling cytoplasm. Imagine a bustling city center teeming with activity. That's the cytoplasm. It's a jelly-like substance that fills the cell, providing a medium for all sorts of important cellular reactions to occur. Think of it like the city's infrastructure, allowing for the movement of people, goods, and information. The cytoplasm is mostly water, but it's also chock full of dissolved substances like ions, nutrients, and those pesky waste products. It's a dynamic environment where everything the cell needs to function is constantly on the move. Next stop, City Hall, or in the cell's case, the nucleus. This is where the big decisions are made and the city's blueprints are stored. The nucleus is the control center of the cell, housing the cell's precious genetic material, DNA. DNA contains all the instructions the cell needs to function, grow, and even reproduce. You can think of it like the city's entire library of building codes and regulations. Surrounding the nucleus is a double membrane called the nuclear envelope, acting like City Hall's security detail, carefully controlling what goes in and out. It's got these tiny pores that act like security checkpoints, allowing only certain molecules to pass through. A city can't function without its specialists, and neither can a cell. That's where organelles come in. These specialized structures are like the city's power plants, factories, and recycling centers. First up, we have the mighty mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell. These bean-shaped organelles are responsible for cellular respiration, a process that converts nutrients into usable energy for the cell. Think of them as the city's power plants, generating all the energy the cell needs to keep the lights on. Then there are ribosomes, the cell's tiny protein factories. These little guys are responsible for protein synthesis, reading the instructions from DNA and assembling amino acids into proteins. Now, if the cell membrane is like the city limits, then the cell wall is like a strong, sturdy city wall, providing extra protection and support. But not all cells have this extra layer of security. Plant cells, for example, have cell walls made of cellulose, a tough, fibrous material that gives plants their rigidity. This is why trees can stand tall and leaves can hold their shape. Imagine the cell wall as a network of steel beams and concrete, providing structural integrity and protection from the outside world. It's like the difference between a tent and a fortress. And there you have it, the essential components that make up the cell, the building block of all life. From the cell membrane acting as the city limits to the nucleus directing traffic from City Hall, it's an intricate and awe-inspiring system. Just like a city thrives on the cooperation of its citizens and infrastructure, a cell relies on the harmonious interplay of its organelles and molecules. Stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of biology. There's always something new to discover in the incredible world of cells.